Welcome to Healthy Vegan Living. My name is Gary. We're really getting close to Thanksgiving. This is my Thanksgiving contribution. It is a bourbon Persimmon pie. Now, I really believe in buying the best bourbon I can, so I bought Basil Hayden Kentucky Straight Bourbon Whiskey. This right here is 60 bucks. But you're only going to be using 3 tablespoons. It's not going to overtake the persimmon pie. It's just going to add a unique, interesting flavor. All right, so these are the ingredients. I got ahead of myself. We'll see in a few minutes. Welcome to Healthy Vegan Living, a whole food, plant-based lifestyle. This is a very fast and easy pie to make. So here it is. You'll need 2 cups of peeled, and if there's seeds in it, go through it. Make sure that the seeds aren't involved. 2 full cups. You'll need 3 tablespoons of bourbon, preferably a brand that you truly love. 3 flax eggs, because we as vegans don't use eggs, so you need a binder. You could use, for example, arrowroot. You need vegan organic sugar. I like to use Bob's Red Mill cornstarch. For spices, I like to use pumpkin pie spice, Himalayan sea salt, and after the pie is cooked, I like to put a chocolate ganache over the top of it. And these are 60% cacao bittersweet chocolate chips, which I will slowly mix with a little bit of almond milk. Once that's done, it'll go in the refrigerator and tighten up. So that's basically all the ingredients you need for this pie. It would be good if you had a blender, but if you don't have one, you can mix it together in a bowl. One more important ingredient. Linda, my wife, made a bunch of pie shells for me. This is one of them right here. And what I did is I added parchment paper over the top of the pie. And since I didn't have any kidney beans, I'm using Great Northern white beans. It's gonna do the same thing. So then this is first thing that's gonna go in the oven, you're gonna blind bake it for 15 minutes. All right, let's get started. Okay, so the oven's been going on because I've been cooking. Oh no, it's turned off. Bake 350 degrees, and we press start. Starting at 162 degrees, okay. And so we're gonna let it come up to 350 degrees, then we're gonna put the pie to blind bake it. There are 2 rules. You can either blind bake, or you add the extra 15 minutes to when you put the pie all together. Some people like to blind bake. My family is always blind baked. Most of my pies are blind baked, so I just follow what I've been taught. On the other hand, there are some people in my family who believe that's a waste of time. I'm just used to it. If you don't do blind baking, don't do it. Follow what you follow in your family, okay? I'm gonna show you the wet ingredients next. Okay, have you noticed there's no bowls out here? Because this is your bowl. You're gonna take all the ingredients and you're gonna put them inside your blender, whatever blender you have. This is a Crush Master Pro. And then you're gonna let it sit for like 10 minutes. Meanwhile, you're gonna blind bake your pie. That's the next thing we're gonna do right now. So, the oven's at 350 degrees. It just gave me a warning. Where's the pie? Okay, the pie is on top of the stove. The rack is already in the center because I was baking earlier. Pick up your pie. And that's it. So this is your bowl. So take the top of your bowl off, in this case, the blender. This is 2 cups of persimmons where the skins have been removed, the pits have been removed, and it's just pure pulp. All right, you're probably gonna have to need a spatula because you don't want to lose it, you want all of it in there. Now you're going to make your flax egg right now before you put any more ingredients in your bowl. Your flax egg, yep, it's a corn, well, let's do that again. Your flax egg is 3 tablespoons of flax meal, like this. This has already been, this is flax seed that's been ground and now it's called flax meal. 3 tablespoons, that's your binding agent, that replaces the eggs. When you're vegan, you don't use eggs, you use flax eggs. And then you're gonna add to that, you're gonna add 9 tablespoons of water. So this is a tablespoon, yes it is. And then you're gonna set it aside for 5 minutes. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. There. And you get rid of this so you don't make any mistakes later down the line. Okay? And you're gonna let this sit. And let's just get a spoon. And you're just gonna mix it in. And if the water's too warm, it's just gonna coagulate instantly. Not a bad thing for our type of cooking. You just want it to be warm. It doesn't take long. Some people can wait as long as 15 minutes. I never wait that long. All right. This is all ready to go. The next thing you're going to do is you're going to add 3 tablespoons of your whiskey, your bourbon. If I make a mistake, it just adds more flavor. And you're going to cork it. You don't want any of it to spill. Now about $50 a bottle. And then after that, you could put this on top just to protect it for right now. Now what we're going to do is I'm going to show you the dry ingredients. Then what you're going to do is take all the dry ingredients, once you've got them all accumulated, and you're just going to shove it in here. Well, nicely put it in here. And then you're going to pulse it for 10 seconds. Then you leave it alone for 10 minutes while the flavors combine and get all really happy with each other. And then the pie shell will be ready. You'll let the pie shell come out. No, still got a few more minutes. And after that, you'll let it cool. And then you'll pour it inside, you'll stick it back in the oven, voila. Okay, so let's get started. Okay, now we're gonna take the pie shell out of the oven. We're going to leave the oven on because we're going to be using it right away. I'm going to show you the quick ingredients real quick, but before we do that, we got to get those beans off of there. So we got to get the pie so it can start cooling so we can put everything in it. All right. So here it's fairly easy. You just have to be careful. Pick up all your beans together. So, and just move them out of the way. Now set a timer for like 10 minutes. Okay, now it's set for 10 minutes. We're gonna let the pie shell cool. And while that happens and it cools, we're gonna assemble the dry ingredients. Once it's cool, then we put everything in the blender and get it moving. All right, dry ingredients. Okay, so the first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna put in the sugar. And the sugar takes a 1/4 cup. Why? Because my persimmons are really, really rich, very sweet. Should have probably pulled this off ahead of time. You put that in. Takes care of the sugar. Next is a cornstarch. The cornstarch you're going to need 2 tablespoons. They call it a leveler. I thought I'd try it out. Looks pretty good. 1, 2. Then you're going to add pumpkin pie spice, and you're going to use 1 teaspoon. The other side of the leveler. Then you're going to use a quarter teaspoon of Himalayan sea salt. And close everything up. You put everything away. Meanwhile, we're still way too early on our pie. We're just going to put everything away. The caps on and everything, so in case we drop. Okay. The last thing you want to do is put in the flaxseed, because as soon as you put in the flaxseed, it's going to start congealing together. Okay, so come back in a few minutes. We're down to 30 seconds. What we're going to do next is add the flax egg, your binder. Okay, I believe everything is ready to go. So then what you do is you put the cover on. Not a good idea to do without the cover. And you pulse it for 10 seconds. Oh, that's not good. That means the seal wasn't on the bottom. That's going to mess things up. Okay, so now that we've seen that giant mess, what we're going to do is pour the rest of this that I've mixed by hand into the pie. And then it's going to bake at 350 degrees for half an hour. Had a little bit of a nightmare here for me. So set your oven. Your oven's already at 350, and we're just going to, okay, like that. So what happened is, when we moved, I should have checked the seal on that blender. I just assumed for some reason, I thought I'd used it before, and the seal wasn't there. Everything messed all over the countertop. So I had to remake some of the pie to make it work. So I lost maybe a quarter cup, almost nothing. I deliberately chose this pie shell because I want to put a ganache on the top of it. Another layer of flavor, trapping in between the persimmon and the bourbon together. Now the next step we have to do is we have to wait till the oven comes up at 350 degrees, and then we'll put the pie shell and everything inside of here, and we'll see how it turns out. Bake it for 35 minutes. Okay, so we're gonna set it. Oh, the oven's not there yet. Okay, so we'll see in a few minutes. All right, so the oven just turned at 350. We're gonna use, because it's nice and hot, put the pie shell in. Okay, right there. All right, then set the timer for 35 minutes. Now, don't make your ganache before the pie comes out. What'll happen is it'll coagulate or it'll stiffen up, and you'll have to warm it back up again. I'll show you what you need for the ganache for the top, but don't do it in advance. Okay. When these things happen, don't even let them phrase you. Kitchen things happen all the time. Pipe glass break, you know, or you'll turn around and you'll see an issue, or maybe you put in too much cornstarch. You just deal with it, roll with it. Don't throw everything away. I used to, and we're not going to worry about it, because food doesn't have to be perfect. Of course it does if you're buying it at a restaurant or if you're buying it at a pie shop. But for the home, just between you and your family, these mishaps happen. Don't even let it bother you. Okay, so we're seeing about 35 minutes, the pie will cook. When it comes back on the counter, then we'll make the ganache. Okay, so the alarm's ringing. We're going to turn that off. And then we're going to pull the pie from the oven and let it cool for 35 minutes. And about 15, towards the end of the cooling process, we will make the ganache. Oh, that felt good. Nothing like a nice, delicious face full of delicious pie steam. Now, what I didn't do, because I was not able to put it into the, let's turn off the oven. Normally, okay, The advantage of putting it in the blender is it mixes it for you. And I didn't get a chance to do that with this pie. I had this huge mess. I had to pick it up. I had to take some of the persimmon from the fridge. I had to kind of do the best I could with it. So this is my test pie. But I have some large pieces of persimmon in there, and I'm kind of curious. Do I really need to whip it up and pulse it? Can this work the way it is? And that's what this experiment's about. Sometimes mistakes turn out into fabulous pieces. This could be my mistake pie, and it could be the perfect Thanksgiving pie, and save me a step that I don't really need. All right, so we're gonna let this cool for 35 minutes. I'm gonna set the timer again, and 5 minutes before, then we'll use a double boiler, which I have it right over here, and we'll cook this premium baking chips. And we're gonna pour it over the top and have a nice thick layer on the top. Then we're just gonna go in the fridge for like an hour, and then I'm gonna test to see what the pie, how it turned out. I can tell you, but it smells divine. It's like I'm in a baking shop. It's just so fabulous in this kitchen right now. Okay, so the pie only has maybe 5 more minutes to cool down. So what we're gonna do now is we're gonna do the ganache. So over here, what I've done is I've boiled the water. And here I have half a cup of the chips. I'm gonna put that in here. It does not take very long to melt it, especially at our heat. Okay, so it's still cooking, or I should say it's still melting. The bottom layer is completely melted. It's just a matter of getting the rest. So just kind of like, okay, like this, when you're moving. It's pretty hot too. I can feel it on my hands. Okay, when it's almost melted, then you put the milk in a little bit at a time. You do not want to boil the milk. All you want to do is be able to mix the two together. And you pull it out and you put it over the pie. It's really hot. Spoon does not make it justice. That's the timer saying it's been the full amount of time for the pie. The pie is ready. Okay, so this is ready. All right, so then what you do, you pour it over it just a little bit, because this is, okay? You do a little bit each time. Otherwise what will happen is it will get cold again and it won't be liquidy. And you won't have much time to put this on. Just give it time so that it mixes together. So it's almost there. And then when it's mixing together, just peel off the top, put a little bit more on. And now we're about 1/4 of a cup of almond nut milk with the dark chocolate chips. Like a really delicious hot chocolate without too much sugar. Not gonna quite be a 50% mixture. We'll have to see what it's like when we move it. Alright, I'm going to turn down the heat. Turn it off entirely. And I make another huge mess. I'm going to go over to the pie. And you can see how I do this. And you have to wear a mitt, because at this point it's hot. So then here all we're doing is adding another layer the chocolate over the top. You don't have much time to do this because it gets cold. It solidifies fast. That's what I meant by getting cold. This you get to eat that later. Now the reason why you don't want to scrape that into it, even though it's very tempting, sometimes you can burn little chunks of chocolate on the bottom, and that would be in your pie. I'm just going to lay that in the stove for right now. And then this goes into your fridge, which mine is right here. So you make sure all the doors are open. And because it's gonna, there's other things in here, move things around. You have to put oven mitts because you don't want to shatter your glass in your refrigerator. So use oven mitts, or if you have a hot silicone mat, you can probably get away with that. So, I'm going to stick it right here. Yeah, we don't need this big one here. Right there. Put these two together. And then we're going to pick it up from the edges, because it's cool now, the base of it is. And we're going to try to level it out. Okay, and that's it. And there it is. And that'll stay in there for, maybe 30 minutes. See? You get to see my vegan fridge, full of fruit. Okay, so there's the pie. Now we're gonna cut it and see how it worked out. I'll be making a duplicate pie exactly like this for Thanksgiving and or Christmas. All depends what the family has got set up to do. I'm looking for a plate. Now, I'm not telling you that I don't want to eat this entire pie, but I have to be realistic here. We'll just make it a small piece, and it's not exactly perfect, but you know, it's okay. Oh well, that's not okay. Looked like the pie got caught to the glass, so I think I forgot to put the cornstarch on it. Okay, so what does this pie taste like? Well, on the knife it tastes great. But that's really just chocolate. It's a very light custard with a small overshadowing of bourbon. I wonder if you could put the bourbon in chocolate. The pieces that I had left, because normally what I do is I whip it up, and it becomes like almost a liquid custard. So in this pie, there are pieces that are not whipped up. There's solid persimmon flesh. And it just melts in your mouth. It's just an absolute delicious pie. I wouldn't call it diabetic. The crust is perfect. Of course, my wife always makes perfect crust, so that's why I never do it. And she prepares the crust, the pie crust, already for me. This is definitely one of the best pies I've done in 2023, considering it is the only pie that I've made in 2023. Absolutely wonderful. I'm going to eat the entire rest of it. That's my dog wanting to get out. Okay. Do you need the ganache? No. But if you want it kind of like that silky look of a wonderful, beautiful dessert pie, it does have a nice taste to it. I have 1/4 inch of chocolate on the top of this pie. 100% vegan, no oil, 100% starch solution. Even the crust was made with no oil. The dogs have been smelling me making pie all day. Of course, Joy. Joy's right over here. So this is a good recipe, and you can find the details not only on the video side but also in the comment section to make it easier for you to cut and paste. You make it for your own family. I hope you use this for Thanksgiving and Christmas. I know I'm going to be making another Christmas pie for all my friends. Maybe a smaller amount, but I know that this is a good recipe. Thanks a lot for watching, and I hope to see you soon in the next video. Bye-bye now. This is my boy. What he wants now is to go for a walk. Isn't that right, TJ? You want to go for a walk? You know, he's almost 7.5 years old. The last thing he likes to do is be picked up by his human. Okay, thanks a lot. Bye-bye. I had this stuff called Press and Seal. When I first started using it, I thought it was very strange. But now I like it on almost everything I make. I'll temp this over the top, like so. And I'm going to bring it to where my wife is at. She's going to be home in a couple days. Life will be good again. Back in the fridge. Welcome to Healthy Vegan Living. My name is Gary, and today I'm going to be showing you how to make another persimmon pie. And December. But you have to get them before the frost. Otherwise, after that, I'm going to be using this exact portion of the video. So you're going to see me 3 different times. I'm going to make cookies, I want to show you how to make candy, and I want to show you how to make pie. See me is this batch. Take these persimmons and put them in these plastic bags. Each of the bags very dearly this year. My first batch of persimmon, I spent over $83. They weren't very good. And you know, being vegan, we're not allowed to eat bugs. If I wasn't vegan, maybe I'd eat them. Okay, so you just need some basic tools to make the persimmon pie. And we're going to start.